Anambra 2025. 96 years old woman breaks down after being denied right to vote. A 96 years old woman, Mrs. Elizabeth Onike, was denied the right to vote in the ongoing Anambra governorship election because she did not possess a voter's card. The incident took place at Umudimakasi, Agulu Ward 2, polling unit 008, Anyocha local government area. Vanguard newspaper reports that Mrs. Onike arrived early at her polling unit, hoping to participate in shaping the future of her community. However, INEC officials explained that voting without a voter's card is not permitted, leaving the elderly woman visibly distressed. Please, before we go further, if you have watched till this time and you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any of our updates. This really helps this channel to grow. Thank you as you do that. Civil society observers have expressed concern about irregularities during the election. Liman Obi from the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room alleged vote buying and other electoral malpractices, sharing evidence through a video on X. Yunus Satanko, national coordinator of the Obedient Movement, described the process across 21 local governments as heavily monetized, affecting both candidates and voters. Picture this: a bright early morning in Umudimakasi, where the sun barely touches the dusty streets, yet there is a buzz at polling units 008. People gathered with hope, determination, and sometimes anxiety. Among them is Mrs. Elizabeth Onike, a 96 years old woman who has witnessed decades of history in Nigerian colonial times, independence, multiple elections, transitions, and reforms. She walks with care, leaning slightly on a cane, but her eye shines with a desire to participate. She reaches the polling booth, greeted by election officers and the chatter of voters. She hands over what she has, a lifetime of experience and hope, but no voter's card. The officials regretfully inform her she cannot vote. For a moment, time seems to pause. Her lips tremble as tears roll down her cheeks. I am 96 years old, and I still want to vote for the good of our people, she says, her voice filled with a mix of sorrow and dignity. As this unfolds, social media erupts. Citizens express outrage, sympathy, and even frustration over the state of Nigeria election. A user on X called for concrete evidence of vote buying. Then another user on X demands INEC to disqualify political parties if irregularities are confirmed. Other users reflect on the systematic challenges, citing political empathy and the monetization of votes as key concern. This story is not just about one woman. It is about millions of Nigerian citizens whose voices sometimes go unheard due to bureaucratic obstacles. It's about the elderly who face physical and systemic barriers. It's about voters trying to make a difference in a landscape often marred by manipulations. Elections in Anambra have long been competitive and sometimes contentious. From voter education campaigns to community sensitization, citizens are forced to claim their rights to vote. Yet challenges remain, especially for the elderly, disabled, and marginalized. Stories like Mrs. Onike's highlight the need for reform, mobile polling units, easier access to voters registration, and policies that honor the democratic right of all citizens, regardless of age or mobility. Civil society organizations stress the importance of accountability. Observers argue that political parties, voters, and election officials must all work together to create a fair process. These voices remind us that while laws exist, their enforcement, transparency, and fairness determines the credibility of an election. Imagine sitting at home, watching the elderly and vulnerable line up to vote, only to see them turned away. The disappointment, the heartbreak, the sin of being silenced is palpable. Mrs. Onike's tears are more than a personal moment. They symbolize the frustration of countless citizens who want to participate but faces obstacles at every turn. Our story invites reflection. How can Nigeria ensure that every citizen, especially the elderly, can exercise their fundamental right to vote? How can voters feel confident that their choices matters and that integrity is at the heart of every election? As the day continues, the polling unit buzzes with activities. Other voters cast their ballots, unaware of the emotional scene that unfolded just a few steps away. The camera of the memory, both real and imagined, lingers on Mrs. Onike's face, a mixture of hope, heartbreak, and dignity. We want to hear from you. How should Nigeria make voting more accessible for elderly citizens? Should INEC consider reform to ensure that no one is denied the right to vote simply due to documentation issues? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Join the conversation. Your voice matters. Please, if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss our updates. Thank you for watching. Stay calm, stay safe, and stay updated.